Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Today I want to talk some NFL and some college football. Hopefully everybody enjoyed their long Thanksgiving holiday. And for those of you that had the whole week off, I hope you enjoyed your vacation. But for most of us, it is back to the normal daily grind. And for a lot of us, that daily grind never ended. Hello there, Marcus. Glad you're here. I am fantastic as always. If you're jumping on here live here on this Monday night, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so. It takes about 2 seconds. It's free and it helps the channel out tremendously. And make sure you give the video a like and a thumbs up. Before we talk some college football, let's quickly talk some NFL from yesterday because I've already discussed the Thursday games and the Friday game. And we can't talk about the Monday night game because it's not over with. But as far as yesterday, the Texans defeated the Jaguars 23-20. And if you did not see that game, hey there, Austin. Glad to have you here. The Texans had a defensive player, I believe his name's pronounced Azir, and he took what was just an ugly shot that should have never happened. That looked about as intentional as you can get on Trevor Lawrence. And they were talking about it on social media yesterday, and I said, as much as I hate the targeting rule, and as much as I hate the fact that they have just made football a wussy sport, hits like that are why we have targeting, and hits like that is why targeting will never go away, because you always going to have one or two players who set out to injure somebody for whatever reason. And it sucks because 98% of the players are out there to hit somebody but not hurt somebody. But that 1 to 2% who want to hurt somebody have completely changed the way the game is played. But that hit was unnecessary. Even if you wanted to be old school and say that, well, he was going for the tackle before Trevor started to slide, you could tell by the way he went for the tackle, the way he was leaning, and the way he leaned in when he jumped, that he was out there to hurt Trevor, whether Trevor was standing up, sitting down, laying down, squatting, bending. It didn't matter. It was ugly. Now we got to wait and see if Trevor Lawrence does miss any time at all. If so, how long? Because the Jaguars' season's over with. I mean, they're awful. They probably won't win another game. So if he has any ailment at all, if I'm the Jaguars, I just sit him out the rest of the season. You're going to suck with or without him. It doesn't matter. He so far has been completely overpaid, completely overrated, and has not lived up to his supposed potential. I've always thought that his freshman year at Clemson was the best he ever was. I think he matured early and reached his peak early, and I don't think he'll ever reach his full potential because his freshman year at Clemson, he was great. And then ever since then, he has just consistently gotten worse. But now the Jaguars are so bad, even if he plays the way he played his freshman year at Clemson, they're still only going to win about 6, 7 games. They're just not any good. Austin, I'll be back at SWA coming up, not this Saturday, but the following Saturday. The Colts beat the Patriots 25-24. The Chargers beat the Falcons 17-13, and the Falcons were 6-3. Now they're 6-6. I think they'll be 6-7 because I think they'll lose again this weekend. And I believe I've said this before here on the channel that I wasn't a big fan of the last coach, Arthur Smith. But if you gave me the choice of Arthur Smith or Raheem Morris, I would pick Arthur Smith. I have just never liked Raheem Morris. I don't get the hype around him. I never have. Hey there, Wookie. Glad to have you here. Austin, it is the 14th. But I don't think Arthur Smith was the problem. The Falcons have way too much talent on offense. You've got guys like Robinson and Mooney and Algier and Pitts and London and McLeod. And every time they play somebody good, they score 17 points, maybe. And that's just too much talent on offense to not be able to score. And I think that's the reason why they ran off Arthur Smith, because he was supposed to be the offensive genius. And they couldn't score against good teams. But Arthur Smith leaves, and it's the same way now. Okay, Wookie, thanks for being here for the amount of time you were here. You will check back later. That's good to hear. Make sure you tell your friends and tell your family about the channel. And hopefully you have subscribed to the channel. And I don't do one of those things that you see a lot of people do during this time of the season where they do their NFL power rankings. I don't do one of those, never have. But if I did do one, the Chargers would definitely be in my top 10. They are really good, and the longer the season goes, the better they're getting. You can definitely tell the kind of coach Harbaugh is. Now, he never stays anywhere for a long period of time, but he's turned the Chargers into a real threat in a very short amount of time. If they can run the ball at all, they're going to be tough to beat, because Justin Herbert has thrown, I think, one pick all year long. The Seahawks beat the Jets 26-21. I believe the Seahawks are 7-5 and lead their division, because the Cardinals are 6-6, the Rams are 6-6, and the 49ers are 5-7. The Commanders defeat the Titans 42-19. The Steelers beat the Bengals 44-38. It's the highest scoring game this year in the NFL with a total of 82 points. The Bengals are now 4-8. If they had any inkling that they were going to the playoffs, I think that's over with now. They'd have to win their last 5 games and get a lot of help. So I think they're pretty much toast. Got a great offense, but it's been a long time, if ever, I've seen NFL defense be as bad as they are on defense. They are absolutely awful, and they really seriously could have the other team get the ball and the Bengals not even put 11 guys on the field and have a better shot of stopping somebody than what they have right now on the field. Their defense is atrocious. The Vikings win again. They beat the Cardinals 23-22. The Rams come from behind to defeat the Saints 21-14. The Bucks have now tied the Falcons atop the South at 6-6 by defeating the Panthers 26-23. The Eagles win again. They defeat the Ravens 24-19. Now the Ravens are only 8-5. They have their bye week this week, but after the bye week, I don't see a way that they go any worse than 3-1. So they should finish a minimum of 11-6. I don't think that'll win the division because of how good the Steelers are, but it's definitely going to make the playoffs. But Justin Tucker yesterday missed 2 field goals and an extra point, so he left 7 points on the board for the Ravens. That's at least the second game this year they've lost because of Justin Tucker. So the fans have completely turned on him, and you hate to see it because Justin Tucker's been kicking since the 17th century. And until this year, if you would have told me Justin Tucker had never missed a kick in his career, I would have believed you, because it seems like every single time he kicked, he could kick a 95-yard field goal, and you'd say, it's going in. He just never missed a kick. And all of a sudden this year, it seems like he's just getting worse and worse as the year goes on. So if you're the Ravens, unless you can somehow sign a kicker or get Tucker going, you got to start wondering come playoff time if it's 4th and 2 or 4th and 3. Are we better off going for it? Because we've got a better chance of getting that than kicking the field goal. Now, if it's 4th and 12, you kick the field goal. But Justin Tucker all of a sudden just, I ain't going to say he's lost it because he still does make some. But when the year started, he had the highest ever field goal percentage. Not anymore. And the Bills defeated the 49ers last night 35-10. Now, in the world of college football, the AP poll came out yesterday, and of course, tomorrow night the playoff poll comes out. So far, they've been pretty neck and neck on what they look like. We got Oregon, Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame, and Georgia, Tennessee, Ohio State, SMU, Indiana, and Boise State, Alabama, Arizona State, South Carolina, Miami, and Ole Miss, Iowa State, BYU, Clemson, UNLV, and Colorado, and then Illinois, Missouri, Syracuse, Army, and Memphis. And now I have mentioned a few of the coaching changes that have already happened in the world of college football. Like we've already talked about Gus Malzahn leaving Central Florida. But there was a couple of moves that were made late Saturday night or yesterday that had been rumored for a while but weren't official until yesterday. And I'm sure there's still more to come. But West Virginia did fire Neil Brown. I think his overall record was 37-35, and he only had 2 winning seasons, so he definitely was stuck right in neutral. Looked like he had turned the corner last year and then went completely backwards this year. Ball State fired Mike New. Perdon't fired Ryan Walters. I think they were 0-9 in the Big Ten. They were flat out awful. And Florida International fired Mike McIntyre. Now, Purdue, Saturday against Indiana, they got shut out, but they had 67 yards of offense. And that is absolutely atrocious. So they played like they were ready for a new coach. You can't get much worse than that when you have 67 yards of offense in an entire game. You can get that by accident on one play, and they couldn't get that in 4 quarters. But be interesting to see how the AP poll compares with the playoff poll tomorrow night. They've been pretty neck and neck so far. But there's a chance if Boise State defeats UNLV that Boise State could finish number 3 when the final playoff poll comes out. Next week we could see Oregon and then the winner of the Texas-Georgia game, which I think will be Georgia, and then Boise State could finish number 3. Not saying they will, but they could because they only have 1 loss, and people already don't respect the Big 12. So the Big 12 is not going to finish number 3. And I don't think anybody understands how good SMU is. So even though SMU only has 1 loss, do you think they'll jump all the way to 3? I don't. And we know if Clemson beats SMU, they're sure not going to jump all the way to 3. So it'll be interesting to see if Boise State does beat UNLV. And the reason why I've said that twice now is because I'm not so sure Boise State does beat UNLV. UNLV is really, really good. But if Boise State does beat UNLV, be interesting to see if they do finish number 3. Any thoughts on any of this, please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. I was the 3rd child, and my parents refused to have any more. So they said, that's all. And that's how I got my name. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.